live via the telephone, candidate for governor in the Republican primary, Mr. Gary Rabine. Gary, thanks for being with me again.
Thank you, Will, for having me. I appreciate it.
So where are you joining us from today?
I'm in Schaumburg, Illinois today.
And where has the campaign trail been taking you to of recent days?
Everywhere. Recently along the Mississippi to some places, Rock Island, Galena, Savannah, Chicago, suburbs of Chicago, Will County, DuPage County, Cook County. Just kind of all over the place, and I like it that way. I'm meeting a lot of people, and I'm really getting a really good vibe of the potential of us winning. And
do you feel like your campaign is picking up steam? There was a poll released recently that showed Darren Bailey in the lead. Do those types of things affect your campaign in any way?
It really doesn't. We came in a little bit later than Darren, but our name recognition isn't as strong. But the poll we had showed us up by a lot when people knew all candidates. So that's the key. I've got to get in front of a lot more people, and I got to get my name out there. I've not done a lot of advertising yet. It's mostly grassroots. So I got to start. We got some video and some commercials being shot, things like that are going to get our name out a little strong.
And Gary Rabine, you had a press release that came into my inbox. I think it was yesterday, and I just read it this morning. It reads, Gary Rabine applauds court ruling halting Chicago police layoffs. Now, this is in conjunction with the Chicago City vaccination mandate. Give us the background. Give us your response.
You know what? I got to tell you, Will, I'm seeing, we're already down. The police force in Chicago is already down by about 900 from everything I've seen. That's a huge hit to the police force in Chicago, and also the danger of walking the streets in Chicago, the danger of carjacking. All these things go up as our police force gets dismantled. And with this vax, what they're saying is as many as 4,000 police will walk if this goes into force. So think about that. It'll be about 5,000 total out of 14,000. You can't afford a reduction of 35% of your workforce in policing and expect more murders not to happen, more carjackings not to happen. So I'm pretty excited that we've got a Democratic judge and Raymond Mitchell that had the common sense to put a stay on this. So the stay is until December the 31st. So I guess the deadline for Chicago police officers to get vaccinated hasn't been abolished, but has been pushed back. So where does that leave folks on January the 1st, or do you know? Well, I'm hoping that there's a lot more momentum. John Catanzara, in my opinion, felt like he was on an island by himself. He created a lot of visibility on this to talk about what's going on, to stand up for his police, which is awesome for a leader to do what he did. And now, in my opinion, there's a lot more eyes on it, and I believe with a lot more pressure from the public, they're going to push this back a lot further and hopefully eliminate it. And John Catanzara, just for the listeners so they understand, is the leader of the Chicago Police Union, correct? Exactly, yes. You can find out more about this at rabineforgovernor.com, R-A-B-I-N-E for governor.com. I also saw that you recently responded to, as well as many other candidates and conservatives in Illinois, to this overturn of the Parental Notification Act. I think a large majority of Republicans, Democrats, independents, all are really scratching their heads at this idea that the Illinois General Assembly would remove the parental notification mandate in the state of Illinois for minors who are getting an abortion. Yeah, think about how crazy this is and how evil this is, Will. We don't allow a 14-year-old girl to get her ears pierced without her parents' consent, right? And now we're saying not only do they not need to consent, they don't even need to notify their parents now. This is sickening and it's evil, and we need to call it out as it is, because I'm very confident that the far majority of Illinoisans don't agree with this. I don't care if Democrats, Independents, or Republicans alike do not agree with this. This is ridiculous and it's evil. And the governor has yet to sign that into law, although he has expressed that he is in favor of repealing
the Parental Notification Act. I read this morning that a recent poll showed that 70% of Illinoisans across all political backgrounds did not support this particular action, yet the governor still stands to sign that piece of legislation into law. At least it seems as if he will. Still a long way to go until the primary next summer. Has the campaign in any way become tiring to this point?
Tiring is not in my blood. I've been building small businesses my whole life, and I've been working long hours, 7 days a week, often in my life. Most of my time, most of my 40 years have been that type of. So I'm really used to it, and I love it. I actually love meeting people. I like people a lot, and so I love meeting people. It's been a blast. And again, when we look back at this tyrannical move with this bill that you just talked about, and think about what you said, 70% of our population doesn't agree with it, but a tyrant doesn't care about that. They want control, and this is more control of our lives, and we have to stand up as Illinoisans, Democrats, Republicans, and independents alike, and stop this.
You can find out more at RabineForGovernor.com. I want to pursue a quick line of questioning here, if you don't mind, just about the campaigning itself, and that is, you mentioned being in Chicago campaigning, and I think for a lot of deep Southern Illinois voters, which is who this audience is, many of them conservative Republican primary voters, they don't completely understand. Republican voters are not in Chicago. At least that's the conventional wisdom. That's a blue city full of Democrats. So why, when you're running for governor, do you still have to spend a lot of time in Chicago?
So, Will, Cook County does have a lot of votes. I mean, there's plenty of areas in Cook County that don't, as you just said. But there's a lot of areas of Cook County that really have a lot of votes in the near suburbs in Cook County, where my office is in Schaumburg and Palatine, these areas. And I got to tell you, the interesting thing is when I have been in the city, in the heart of the city, where I've been in parades where I'm surrounded by mostly Democrats and other things. I got to tell you, right now, Democrats that have been Democrats all their life are coming our way as Republicans, in my opinion. Democrats that are not socialists, that understand what a socialist movement is, that understand what a tyrant is, okay, are coming our way. And the police are a great example of that. I mean, our police are we need to be loving our police and taking care of our police, making sure they can do the right thing to protect us all. These people are not doing that. So the police were even 50%, as much as even a majority, 60% on the left. And I got to tell you right now, they're coming our way. Their families are coming our way. Their communities are coming our way. So to not to spend the time in the city would be a mistake by myself, in my opinion, as well.
And another thing that I've noticed recently, there's still rumors that other candidates will be joining the governor's race, people like Rodney Davis. And, of course, you can't really worry about whether or not other people are going to get in the race or not as candidates. But there are wealthy people like Ken Griffin and Richard Uihlein who can have a tremendous impact on who ultimately wins these primary races because they are so wealthy. Do you have any outreach, contact, or hear anything about what those gentlemen are going to do?
So, I mean, I'm not focused on that, maybe as much as some might be, or I should be even, right? I'm going to run this race hard, really earning my votes and earning any support by my work ethic and my views. Those two people you mentioned are really great Illinoisans that, of course, any of us would be blessed to have their support. But I'm gonna work hard with money from my friends, family, and others that are supportive of me. I may gain their respect and their votes and their dollars, but I'm also blessed to have built my businesses from here across the country. I've got lots of relationships across the country that will be on my side in the general, like nobody else. So to get through this primary is going to be hard work, and I'm going to outwork everybody. Money raised, I'm going to raise some good money, but I don't really care if I'm the biggest raiser in this primary. I'm going to win it. But winning in the general is going to be critical that I raise money from outside Illinois, because even the money from those two people you mentioned won't be enough to beat JB's $200 million investment or whatever it's going to be from him. So I've got great friends across the country that are very wealthy that said they'll be behind me after I win this primary, and that's going to be important.
Well, it's just a worthwhile part of the conversation because, unfortunately, Money is a politics game, and politics is a money game, and that's how it tends to play out. It's the reason why we've had two multi-billionaires as governor between J.B. Pritzker and previous to him, Bruce Rauner. It just seems like the thing is going to the highest bidder the last few years, which I don't know if that's good for the state, honestly.
We got to change that. I'm in a group called the Republican Governors Association. In many states across the country, they're the best states, in my opinion, that have leaders that are common sense, smart, and can't be bought. And I believe that's who I am. I'm common sense, and I cannot be bought. My friends that are governors in other states across the country that I've got to know in some of these associations I'm part of, that they have those two character traits. And the same ones are elected in states that have much better campaign law than we have. So I agree 100% that it shouldn't take a billionaire. But billionaires should not be able to buy their own race without getting their big butt on the street going after votes like I do and most people do. Right, and so my opinion is, hey, it's God bless the billionaire, God bless the millionaires, and anybody that's been successful and gained their success in this great state, in this great country. But it shouldn't take a billionaire to outweigh the competitors in a race with their own nest egg of $200 or $300 million. That should be wrong. It shouldn't be accepted, and it's perfect. It's a perfect setup for a tyrant to ruin a state.
Gary, do you think you're going to be back in deep Southern Illinois anytime between now and the end of the year?
Absolutely. I love Southern Illinois. We'll be there next week. We've got a trip. We're loading up the RV, and we'll be heading down there next week for a couple days. And this will be our fourth or fifth trip, and we're going to continue. We need to understand every part of the state, and not be quiet for those outer counties that are suffering from the competitive environment, the lack of competitive environment from Illinois in states like Wisconsin that I border, McHenry County, where we're losing jobs and people every day. Places like Randolph County, where they're, again, same thing. They're losing population. There's no business there, and it's all going across the border. We got too many places in Illinois that are suffering because of the terrible politics of Chicago politics in Springfield.
Well, if you get around to Ava, Illinois, look us up. We'd be happy to have you in the studio. Again, Gary Rabine is our guest today. He is a candidate for governor in the Republican primary, and we appreciate him taking a few moments out of his lunch hour to join us today. Gary, thanks for the time.
Thank you, Will, and look us up at rabineforgovernor.com to learn more about our events. We got a lot of fun stuff going on, so thank you, Will.